Now,
This makes me look masculine, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're live.
Are we live right now?
we're live.
Yep.
We are.
Okay, we gotta work on this whole
I told you we were going live.
Yeah, you did.
You gotta speak up a little.
You gotta
bit.
count
got a little
down.
mouthful.
Yeah, we gotta do a countdown.
Anyways,
It
welcome
should
to the
give me
Gamer
a
Den
countdown. It doesn't give me a
podcast.
countdown.
Welcome to the Gamer Den podcast, episode 3. I believe officially of the new and improved Gamer Den podcast. I'm Sean Kopp. I'm also exhausted. I had a very, very busy weekend. Anyways, our motley crew consists this evening of Miles Eshanique, a.k.a.
Hello.
Nick Siegel, one of the worst logophiles I know.
What's a logo file?
Someone who loves words.
Oh.
Oh.
I was just
Now that
feeding
one.
that one to you, Chris. Feeding that
Thanks,
one to
Sean.
you.
Alley-oop.
And joining us for the first time is Miles' brother, Austin Eshanique, gamer extraordinaire, who's
More like
Who's-
troll.
yeah, whose vocabulary mostly consists of cuss words and racial slurs.
We call him a big O-file.
We can. You can call him
likes-
that. You
likes
actually,
being-
as his brother, you can call him whatever you want, right?
He likes being a big old douche. Is that why? I'm just kidding. Anyways, welcome, Austin. Also with us tonight we have Alex Wong.
Hey, Sean, I listen. See, repping.
Ah,
San
very
Francisco.
good, very good. So Alex Wong apparently sucks worse than Austin at Hearthstone.
Yes, that is correct. Computer is hard to beat, especially
Do you even
beginners.
Hearthsteed, bro?
What?
Do you even Hearthsteed, bro?
Nope.
You
I wish I did.
That Steed. It's okay. Torns look goofy on it. Anyways, also with us tonight we have the twins, Kevin Crawford, who most assuredly gets abundant use out of his PS4.
I don't own a
He
PS4.
doesn't have one.
Oh, well there you have it.
Adam Crawford does.
That's the first dead joke. That's the first one that's fallen flat.
It'll work with
Anyway.
the other one. It works with the other twin.
I know, but I already had one for Adam. Who's already making a solid attempt at taking whatever belts Bill Nye has out of his hands. No, dang it!
Adam
It's
just looks
two.
so confused.
He is
That's
confused.
two.
What?
Dang it!
I'm confused.
That's two we've lost. All right,
Take
I'm
me
not
back.
on a roll tonight, guys.
That's
Anyways,
right, you're tired.
maybe the last one will go. We also tonight have with us Christopher Kopp, who I wanted to make sure was out of Minnesota before I bought a house and settled down.
Good thinking.
How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Got 2 days to come back.
Oh, that's right. You'll be back very, very soon.
Yeah.
We're good. The Kopp family's going to see Blue Man Group on Sunday. Pretty exciting.
I'm gonna make so many Blue Myself jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might wear the cutoffs.
We got off cheese.
Yeah.
What do they call it when they get blue balls? I wonder.
You just call it
It's
balls.
showing balls.
They call balls extra
I got
blue.
balls.
Just a natural state. Just a natural state. Maybe they're more like dark purple or something for them. I don't know.
Indigo balls.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but this will actually be my third time seeing them.
Really?
It's a hell of a show, yeah.
It
It's
is
a
a
lot
good
of
show.
fun. Well,
Someone-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If someone blocks Shanzi or Christopher on Facebook, is that being cop blocked?
Oh.
Or is it if they blocked us on Facebook?
Either way.
Both.
Either way.
It goes both ways.
These are important quandaries.
Yeah. Yeah. These are the questions that are worth answering and investigating. So who has been playing video games? Because I haven't touched anything for a while.
Never mind.
Me.
Okay. Miles gets to go first, as always.
Out in left field. No,
Miles, what do you got?
Okay, I'm back.
you and I both bought Trials Fusion last
Yeah.
week. Last
I wanna
Thursday,
talk about
I
it,
believe
too.
was. And haven't got to delve too deeply into it because last weekend I went up and saw Chris Topher there, and Johanna as well.
Yeah.
So we had a little. I don't even. It's not even a Den Con.
It
It's
wasn't
just
a Den Con. It was just a happy
it's
meeting.
It's just a meeting.
a rendezvous. No.
Oh.
I kind of like that.
Okay. Anyways, so we had that, and so other than that, I just got back. Had to work today. It was a crying shame. So other than trials on Thursday, that's about the extent. A little bit of WoW.
Tell everyone who hasn't played about Trials kind of what the game is.
Well, it's basically what Grady would call a Flash game with better graphics.
Yeah.
Can't really argue otherwise.
Well, actually,
but-
I mean, that's what it originated as.
yeah.
Some
And
people
so-
made a... Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it because it's better graphics, and let's all be real here. We all have very expensive gaming computers. We like to see them used.
We like to ride a motorcycle on 2D
Planes. And,
exactly.
and have all kinds of ridiculous backflips and whatnot. So yeah.
I did enjoy playing that game on the Flash, way back when. But is it worth a full title price?
If you're... I don't know. I think it depends. Because this is one of the... I'm playing it right now. This is one of the games that, to me, can make me play, like, the same freaking little map again and again and again just to, like, get a better medal or a better, like, time or finish little achievements, because they have 3 achievements, basically, for each little map. And then also, if you've ever played a Trials game, there's usually a string of user-generated content that comes out.
Which is amazing.
Amazing. It's kind of like one of those things where, like, if you ever played, like, Halo 3 when they did the map generation, like, the highest maps would sort of publicly, like, go to the top.
Yeah, the
And
cream rises to the top, yeah.
Exactly. And so it's one of those things that, like, if you're, it depends on, like, how sucked into the game you get, because for me these games are always worth the $20 I pay for them, because I keep coming back and getting more and more out of them and, like, sort of perfecting little stupid things. It's kind of one of those things, like, in a way, like, I imagine I don't play iPhone games or iPod games that are, like, free to play, but the little things that you pay for or you do repeatedly again and again and again just because the game leads you into that. That's what I enjoy about it.
I definitely like going and doing on my free games on my iPod, or on my iPhone, like Angry Birds or these puzzle games that I've been downloading. I always go. I never move on until I get 3 stars, so I usually don't go too far into the game.
That's kind of how it is here too.
Yeah.
Like, did you get all the 3 stars on all the Angry Birds levels?
No, there's too many of
There's a
those
lot of variations of Angry Birds too.
Well, yeah.
True. Star Wars is my personal favorite right now.
I played a little bit of that.
It's really, really, I mean, it's good. It's got a lot of character, like, and it feels like more Angry Birds, so something to do when you're on the John, I guess.
Well, let's be real here. That is the sole purpose for owning an iPad or an iPhone, for doing any sort of gaming on, right?
Sure. Except
No, I find that I'm a efficient duker in World of Warcraft terms, and so I can't play at all on the toilet. It just doesn't work that way. Instead, I
World of
sit-
Warcraft doesn't work on the toilet?
no. What I'm saying is,
there are ways.
There are.
ways.
no, I'll sit in bed and play all night, like this one game called Game Dev Tycoon. Play that game till like 5 in the morning.
It's so good.
Crack cocaine.
It's so good.
Kevin has
And it's
first-hand
on
experience of
Steam
that.
as well.
What's that?
You
Kevin?
have first-hand experience of him playing Dev.
Oh, I was
Dev-
gonna say that would
Yeah.
explain the Crawford's physiques, the crack cocaine.
I think Wong was referring to Miles playing it like throughout the night when we shared our room in college, and like literally, if I woke up at any point in time during the night, I would just look over and I'd see his face glow, and his eyes just like they're in it, and he's in this world.
Yeah. There's no getting out.
I played this other game called like All-Star Baseball from like 11 p.m. to like 5 a.m. I think, and after that I wanted to die. Like
Yeah.
I was nauseous. I felt just awful. I was like,
That was
I
great,
could
though.
never do that. I haven't played it since. It's like I'm just
It's one of
mobile
those-
gaming is more like harmful to my health than gaming on a console or PC has ever been. I think.
It's more isolated. Well, I don't know. I feel like as if we're to have like a serious podcast, we should talk about our sentiments about the trend of mobile gaming because I don't necessarily like it. And it's not because like I enjoy it. It's because I don't think that it's obviously generating product or like profit, but I don't necessarily like nothing about it appeals to me. Like
There's nothing really.
it feels cheap.
Well, it is
Is it
cheap.
cheap because they say it's free, and then in order to advance within a game, you have to pay to win?
Yeah, you feel like you're being lied to a little bit.
Yeah, that's
It feels very disingenuous. I agree.
I guess the last game that I tried, and I didn't try the first iteration was what was it? What was it called? It's like
Don't say Candy Crush Saga.
Tiny Tower. Is that what it's called? Something Tower. Tiny Tower of Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Tiny
Tower
Death
made
Star.
Star
Tiny
Wars?
Death Star.
Yeah, Tiny Death Star.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where they milk you of every little, like they milk you for time. It's like one of those things where like, this is the thing crystallized that infuriates me about the trend that mobile gaming has, is that they want you to game on their time. So you buy these or you get these free to play games and they're like, come back in 6 hours.
Yeah.
And you can open this or you unlock this. And I'm like, no, screw that. And then a lot of people are probably like, screw that, and then pay the money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. I mean, that's the whole point, obviously.
yeah,
They're the quintessential freemium game or models, and I think those really just cater to the casual gamers in the
the
first place.
masses.
The masses. They're really not for us anyway.
It's true. It's too
But the
bad though
problem with that,
because
though, in my opinion, that developers, or maybe not developers, but their parent publishers will be like, okay, well, you guys need to put something out that has a business model like that. And they'll put
And it
something
works.
out that's really intriguing to the hardcore type, and yet it's confined to this free-to-play, kind of universe. So we'll be wanting to play it, but resentful because we can't play it. And it's like...
and feel
that-
good about ourselves.
Well, no, it's like the trend is that they'll make a spiritual successor or a sequel or just a spin-off game of a popular franchise, and it'll be related. It'll be what we want to do, but it's a free-to-play, and we're like, I'd rather just pay full price. But because the trend has been leaning towards those microtransactions, the developers are going to be pressured into making it in that platform by their
See,
publishers.
It is fun because there's certain games that were like, if it were free to play, we'd be like, nope, F that. Like, say it was like a free to play Assassin's Creed game.
That'd be a nightmare. It'd be a
Right.
nightmare.
Okay, but then there's League of Legends, which
Which can be a nightmare.
The League of Legends, I
almost
think,
all
is
of us
ultimate.
would be embarrassed to say what we've spent on it.
Well,
And-
but
Almost all of us.
we wouldn't be able to be in this
This
call
discussion
right now
right
if League of
because
Legends wasn't a thing. Let's be real here. So
It's true, but what I'm saying is like my point is not like the origins. It's more like there's certain ways of freemium that appeal to the hardcore gamer, and then there's certain ways of freemium that are just like they feel cheap.
Well,
Like,
I think League of Legends has been the supreme example of what premium can be, because that is such a great example of a game that you can enjoy to its full potential without spending a dime. I just recently, after playing the game for like 2 years, spent my first like $15 on skins, and that's all I've ever spent. But there's
yeah,
a lot of
and
people who spend much more than
they
that.
still got more 15. They're like that's $15 more than they would have gotten from you maybe. Like in the
Yeah, for
beginning
example,
at least.
had it not been free, I might have not even had it been a full price title. Maybe I wouldn't have paid to play it at all. I actually ventured to guess that with its popularity that I would have paid money. I would have bought the game at like $60, but at the same time, the game wouldn't be where it's at if it were a $60 title,
Oh
probably.
no,
So
no, not at all.
and if you think
Well,
about it, a lot of games that have that are $60 titles that have like skin pack, like say Street Fighter or something that doesn't change the way the game plays, just change the character. I'm pretty sure they don't sell a whole bunch of like skin packs for that, although they put them out.
well, I mean, I think like that's pretty much the business model for Dota 2, and that's making money hand over foot,
yeah.
where the game is basically there for you, but it has such a legacied history. I guess it's sort of an anomaly in that way, but
doesn't
like
Dota
all
2
you do
though?
is buy cosmetic stuff.
Yeah. Isn't it like Team Fortress 2 where there's like a Steam Workshops or whatever and you sell your
Yeah.
stuff? Is it? Okay.
Well, yeah, it's that, and yeah, so people can actually make money off of the game as well. So I find that whole thing very interesting.
Well, Ryan made $150 off a sword on Diablo 3. Diablo,
Wow.
sorry.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But and in terms of mobile gaming, I saw this on Reddit earlier. I thought it was interesting now that we're talking about it. Zynga lost about half of its daily users in the start of this year, I guess. So
Oh my
it's
God,
they've kind of
it's petering
been,
out.
yeah, which I think is pretty awesome, personally.
People have caught on. They're like, "Oh my God, what am I doing?"
With all these freemium games out there, I don't want to play Farmville.
Yeah, too much
I'm-
of the business model.
Yeah.
Yeah, just yeah.
I don't know. That's one of the things too. Is like, at least with like, I don't play nearly any games on my phone, but and I don't have an iPad. But I'd say like, I almost always am happier with a game that I purchase for $5 than any game that's freemium and is interrupting me with ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like not ads, but like saying you can get past this level for 99 cents.
Yeah.
Yuck.
When
I
they
don't know.
stop making progression about skill and more about like, oh, how many friends do you have?
Or how much time will you sink into it?
Right, because like World of Tanks, I was playing for a little while, and not only is that game just difficult in general, but it's such a grind to get your tanks where they need to be. Uh, all the
Is this
different
the Marvel game you're talking about?
No, World of
No.
Tanks.
World of Tanks.
Oh, World of Tanks.
Games
That's what I'm
Right.
sorry.
And it's such a grind. There's no, and you can pay to, oh well, just put some money in and you can have a tier 5, tier 7 tank or whatnot. But like, forget it. I'm not gonna play your game. It's not even that addicting anyways. So peace out.
To be honest with you, Crawford, I've installed World of Tanks 3 times and uninstalled it 3 times. I cannot. I don't. I guess I get it. It's not for me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, anyways, anyone else been playing anything interesting in the last week? Anything changed?
I have been playing Octodad, the Dadliest.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, I forgot to get that last week.
Tell us about it.
So you play as it's basically a physics simulator. You play as an octopus who is
Dressed in human
dressed
clothing?
in human clothing, trying to pass himself off as a human. So the first episode, which you've probably seen in demos, is the wedding where he's getting married, and then things progressively get worse as you learn the basics of the game, and then they tell the story of you going to the aquarium.
So is it a story game wrapped into a physics simulator? Is that
Ragdoll
what it
physics
is?
simulator, yeah.
Ragdoll.
Alright.
It's weird because you control, well, at least I was playing on the PC. You control only one arm, so you control the right arm.
Yeah, and then you need to stick it.
Yeah,
You need to
and then
stick
you
it
need
to
to-
something,
then
right?
you need to stick it to something, and then in order to move it up and down, you hold the right click and you hold it and you move up and down, and then you let go and to move front and back.
It's like Surgeon Simulator. in
Oh
some
my
ways.
goodness.
Surgeon Simulator. Then you press spacebar to switch to your legs, and you left click for your left leg and right click for your right leg.
That sounds remarkably awkward.
I've heard.
Supposed to be.
I've heard the game has like a fair amount of feels to it as well.
Yeah, there is. The story
What can you tell about it without
So-
spoiling it?
So the story is basically a day in the life of an octopus that is dad. So,
And a husband.
and a husband, and you have children too, which
So
is
figure that out. Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but they question that in the game. They question that, and the basic thing about it is that everybody thinks you're a human except for this chef who knows you're an octopus. So your wife has tickets to the aquarium, and so she in some ways fools you to going to the aquarium, and things unravel there when the chef is also at the aquarium.
So he's like the angry chef from Little Mermaid,
Yes.
right? Is that
Yes.
he's like chasing with meat
A
cleavers?
butcher's knife.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got his meat cleaver, and he's
Nice.
he's always yelling "Octopus!" and chasing you around.
In like a con kind of thing, like
Mhm.
octopus.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nice. I'm in.
So what's
Oh,
your
wow.
price point on it, Alex?
Well, I got it for $10, and it's worth it's worth the $10. So,
Okay.
What do you
Right
enjoy
now-
most about it, though?
what do I enjoy most? Well,
Like, what makes it worth the money?
not a spoiler, but you get to, while you're in the aquarium, you get to do arcade games, and that's pretty fun because you can either do the arcade game correctly or you can cheat. So one of the games is to knock down these like tiles with a fish, and you can cheat. You can walk to the tiles and knock them all down with your hands, or you can click and grab the fish and try and throw it with the the ragdoll physics. And try
Oh,
to
so
knock
you're
down the
not.
tiles
So
there.
as an octopus, you're not going up to an arcade game and playing it. You're saying like there's little mini games in
Yeah.
the game.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's a good
So they
clarification.
have like whack-a-mole, just trying to whack the mole with the hammer using the physics. Basically the physics is pretty interesting to use. So
My concern, sorry.
because it's like Surgeon Simulator. So you like
It's just like feels you're almost learning like a new way to get around the physics in this game.
yeah. And I also hooked up the controller to see how that works. It's
And what'd you
probably
think?
pretty easier to use the controller because you have
Controller superior.
far superior. Who said that?
Adam.
Uh,
You eat your words.
You use the triggers to control, and then I think you press X to switch.
My screen switched to Miles as he says that, and he's looking like I'm looking at my screen, my monitor. He's looking straight at me like that's freaking serious. You eat your words.
He's
a little
looking into your
jarring.
soul.
Well, Austin, what have you been playing?
Fun.
Arma 2, Operation Arrowhead, Wasteland.
What?
Your one and only
What do you love about it?
shooting people.
Is it not DayZ?
No, there's no zombies, and there's 110 people.
It's
So
always 110
DayZ's like
people?
not a thing anymore?
DayZ is a thing, but this you don't have to have the mods. Literally, for all of you who had DayZ before, all you have to do is type in the IP, port, and then you're sort of set. There's 80 people usually average at night and almost packed every day. So the action is endless, and it's probably the only game that's ever given me that much adrenaline, that much. It's so common.
So it's the same game. So basically it's a sandbox? Like it's
Pretty
a sand.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get weapons then if it's like
The weapons are endless too. There's literally weapons in every vehicle, and there's
So
vehicles
it's like
everywhere.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. There's 3 teams, and there's two bases, the official bases, and then so you have Op 4, Blue 4. Those are 2 sides. They have independent. So obviously, if you go independent, you get to shoot the most people, but we don't roll that way.
So it's a constant tug of war 3 ways. Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
that's what she
So-
said. Sorry.
So how do you like pull like the rope towards your end? You know, like what goals are there, or is it just a kill death thing?
It's mainly a kill death thing. Me and Zach, we always go for objectives and stuff because you get the coolest shit from that. Like you get free tanks and helicopters, Humvees with grenade launchers, all kinds of stuff, APCs. But half the time, our team is stupid and they'll go invade the other base or defend our base, and it's just half the time that's a waste. But earlier, me and Zach invaded Blue Force base, and then there was you take over their base. And like after that, it'll go slow, and then they're like ants, and then they'll just start swarming in, and then half the time you die. But the adrenaline is no joke in that
I
game.
think for the ARMA games on PC, it sounds like the most fun thing about those games, like the biggest thing that they've contributed, is the games that have come out of the mods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which
I
makes-
tried playing the Armor game. It was taxing.
I personally, I hate
it's like a-
single player.
It's really it's more of a like combat simulation, right?
Mm-hmm. And then
But then they like all the mods basically take away all of the chaff, right? And then you're left with a relatively simple game that has complex interactions, right?
And convoluted freaking inventory system. I don't know, it confuses the hell out of me. I bought it, and I thought Austin was going to show me how to play it, and he didn't. Like, sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell?
That was your first mistake.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
nobody,
brother, man.
And Etch
Trusting Austin for a walkthrough.
Yeah, telling you to walk through.
well, I haven't played ARMA in a while, and Zach was like, dude, you need to get this. So I was like, okay. So after I upgraded the computer, I downloaded it, and then I felt the same way Kevin did, or whoever, Adam over there, and I couldn't play. I was getting stomped, and it took probably 3 or 4 days so I got back into it, and I'm average.
That's the one scary thing about those kind of games, like, and it goes for most of the games that we're into, like League of Legends, even Hearthstone in some ways. Like if it's a game that you're unfamiliar with, it's daunting to spend the first 20 hours in that game to just like suck at it.
Yeah, no payoff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know how that goes.
To be better incrementally, and then
Not only, it's just impossible to understand. Like I love Dark Souls. I'm playing that right now, and it's a notoriously difficult game. And then jumping into DayZ, makes that look like a children's game, like a Disney Nemo
Wait,
game or something.
are you playing Dark Souls 2?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Well, maybe we should transition to talk about your thoughts on Dark Souls 2 because that, if I'm not mistaken, released on PS or on. Did it come out on Xbox One?
Uh,
Everything, right?
I think so, but PC's not out yet, right? Or soon?
No, it actually
No,
just
it
came out.
is.
That's
just
why I
came
wanted
out.
to say it just came out on Tuesday.
So
So
my question for you, Adam, is: am I prepared?
Prepared to die,
Right?
maybe.
That's it. Like, will I just rage quit? Most likely.
No,
Yeah.
because the funny thing about Dark Souls is like in the very beginning when you don't have very good weapons, like Dark Souls is just the absolute hardest in the first couple hours. This one's a little better because there's a little part of the map where you start out that's even though it's not a true tutorial, it is meant to be a tutorial area, and people who play online are leaving like hints, so, like this is how you do this and this is how you do that, just like in Dark Souls One, except there's just learning
it's a
curve
bit
is
more refined.
yeah, like it's definitely easier to learn the basics initially, but the first couple hours are gonna punish you because you're not quite equipped, and but because I didn't consult a guide, which I think was probably an ill-fated choice. I didn't know that leveling up worked differently in this game, and so I was like under leveled for the first couple hours. I had not leveled up once because I didn't understand how to spend my souls to do so. But you find, I mean, so I looked it up and I was like, wow, that was really dumb of me. So I figured that one out. I think what the difference between this game and Dark Souls 1 probably is, and I don't remember if you could fast travel in Dark Souls 1. I think you kind of could. But in Dark Souls 1, a lot of the maps are very connected, a lot of the levels, so you can travel from one place to the other by foot, and I think you pretty much had to. But this one, even though you can walk from one place to another, it's very taxing and time consuming to do so, so they have the fast travel from bonfire to bonfire system. And I swear I thought I was done with that game, and I looked at the walkthrough and I started looking through all the levels, and I was like, holy shit! I was like maybe a third through the game at that
It's a
point.
fun feeling.
Yeah, so I was pretty excited because it's definitely not one of those games where you want it to end. I don't think, uh, even though the combat's kind of repetitive the way I play it, because I play it the same ways I did last time, which is a strength character, and I just have this big ass sword, and I move like a freaking sloth, and I just try and soak up damage with my shield blocks 100%, so try to deal as much damage as when I can, and then just hide behind my shield at the other times, which is not always the best method. But so it's like so I don't think it's as punishing this time around. I think it's a lot more accessible. And like I said in the last podcast we participated in, uh, Dark Souls never you never feel like it's harder than you can manage. Every time you make a mistake, you're like, you know what, I could have done this better, or I'm being impatient. I need to slow down. I need to be smarter, and it's just
That's what I've
frustrating.
heard
Yeah,
is with Dark Souls, every time you die, you do feel like it's like you weren't cheated. You feel like it was your fault.
yeah.
You could have done something to prevent that.
Until someone invades your world, and then frickin' rocks you before you can get back to your souls, and you're like, goodbye, souls. I hardly knew thee. Because your souls are how you buy things, and
That's a different. That's the currency.
yeah, and when you
Do you get
die,
them? Do you
you have
get
to
them off killing people
right. You get them off killing
like demons?
the enemies, and when you die, you have to return to the spot at which you died and retrieve your souls. If you do not, they are lost. If you die before you reach them, they're lost, and that's what is most upsetting about Dark Souls.
I mean, it's like walking on eggshells.
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
it's
oh
pretty.
God, just
It's
some.
kind of scary.
Is there an opportunity to just like haul ass and pick them up?
My
Or do you
strategy
need
when
to fight
people
through things?
invade me and I need to get back to my body is I just sprint away from them. Like I try and get away, get to my souls, and then as soon as and then I'll pretty much at that point, if they kill me, I'm not mad because when I die, they're not gonna still be in my world.
Yeah.
So maybe chances are that I won't be invaded next time I get back to my souls.
Huh.
So there's still much about that game I don't understand. Like the covenants, it doesn't tell you when you join a covenant. There's certain benefits of doing so, but it doesn't
What
say
is a
what it
covenant?
is. It's like a you encounter an NPC and they ask you to like join this covenant, and there's a certain benefit for doing so. One covenant is to make the game harder, and when it's like I can't remember if it's for the heroes or knights or something, I don't know. And when as soon as you join it, the game all the enemies become more difficult, and so I feel like that's unwise. If your time is precious, don't do that. Yeah, the game is kind of there's one difficulty setting when you think about it in Dark Souls, and that's it. But they kind of introduced a second by doing that. Also, if you use a bonfire ascetic, at your bonfire you make enemies in that area more difficult. Which I'm not sure why I don't know why you would do that. It doesn't make
Do
sense.
they drop more souls?
That's probably the reason. I'll have to look into that. But I mean, there's been spots where getting to the boss was half the battle. Like you have to not the boss is hard enough, but the fact that you have to get there first each time you die from the boss, you go back to the bonfire and you have to you have to kill all the enemies on the way. That makes it really hard. But the balancing in that is that after you kill the enemies like 100 times each, that's an exaggeration. But after you kill them a ton of times, they stop showing up. So that way, eventually, you get a free path to the boss if you die enough times and kill them enough times. Takes a while though, but that's a balancing act
Huh.
or a balancing mechanism. And
See,
if
that's one
you
thing
like
that
bosses,
doesn't.
this is a good game.
That's one thing that doesn't. That sounds a little like unappealing to me. Is that like I'm one of those players that likes to. If there's like three enemies in front of me, and then they keep kicking my ass, I like learning like how the mechanics work to deal with those three, and then being able to surpass that. That like the game is telling me like, oh, you can't beat three. Maybe you can beat two, stupid. You know, like that. Just kind of that feels. Is that what it feels like, or does it
Well,
feel more organic?
I think it feels more fair because there's some bosses that you can get to pretty easily and you don't have too many guys to fight through. But this one in particular, I can't remember her name, but she was just so damn hard with the way I was trying to beat her with my strength. I needed to be more agile, and so I had to change my spec or change my gear. But getting to her, I could kill all the guys getting to her because I learned all their moves and stuff, and eventually it wasn't so much a problem of how hard it was to get to her. It became a time consuming
Ah,
thing, and they don't want it to be time consuming. They want this
no.
game to be fun and challenging, but they're not trying to burn up your day.
In some ways, what that
Yeah.
feels like then is it feels like more like okay, we've kicked his ass long enough. Like that, it feels like a time thing for them, right? Like it's not like imagine like if for a week you couldn't get through this one level to even get to the boss, right? But on the eighth day you were like floating through everything and finally get to the boss. Like I imagine at least like the reward or the sentiment or the feeling that would accompany that experience might be more. And I haven't played the game, but from a gameplay or from a game design standpoint, I feel like that might be more rewarding that you got that far rather than saying like, okay, well if I die this many times, the game will let me pass.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, but I haven't played it. It's all theoretical.
I agree because it takes some feeling of accomplishment away It was like, oh, okay, well, like when God of War would tell you, when you die so many times in God of War, and they're like,
Oh.
we see you retarded.
Do you want to turn down the difficulty?
Would you like to turn
No,
down the
no,
difficulty?
fuck you! I'm gonna
No, I
kill
can do it. I'm a man.
you.
But
I'm Kratos.
I don't know. At the same time, I think it was a way for them to go, well, we made this part of the game, and for some builds, depending on if they're a mage or whatever, maybe this part of the game might be too hard for them to get to the boss. And so the balancing act would be that if it is that way, then we'll just, those minions will start going away after you've killed them enough times. And because beating the boss, it takes nothing away from beating the boss. That will always be just as difficult. It's just whether or not you're able to get there in a timely manner. Do you want? I don't know, but and like I said before, so many bosses that are that make this game quite fun. If you like bosses, get in here.
All right, better boss battles:
Yeah,
Demon Souls or Shadow of the Colossus.
Well, I'd say Demon Souls, or I mean Dark Souls. I'd say Dark Souls, even though there's probably more to beating. You had to figure out. There's a lot in figuring out bosses in Shadow of the Colossus, but I think it's kind of this way in Dark Souls 2 as well.
We have the gearing aspect, which is kind of has its own rewards, right?
Right, because there was a boss that I just fought, and he did flame damage, and so I had this gear that I had a shield that blocked 90% of the flame damage. So as soon as I did that, I realized I had that shield. That boss battle became quite simple. Same went with a guy who did a lot of magic damage. I switched to a shield that had a lot and gear that had a lot of magic resistance. So, yeah.
So you're enjoying your time with it.
Yeah, I also recommend. And this is plenty of time for me for this whole podcast, but I recommend Outlast.
I've heard really good.
That for freebies.
I've heard it's scary.
Yeah, it was scary. I think what makes it possibly less scary is that you can't attack. So when you know what to do, when you're seen, you run. So I think that makes it.
So have you played Amnesia?
No, not yet. No, I heard it's a forgettable game. Oh, just kidding.
I've heard it. I haven't played through it yet because I'm too much of a wuss. Every time, like I get through, I'm like, oh god. 'Cause you can't attack in that game either.
Yeah.
I don't. Is Outlast made by the same people? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's like Red Barrel or something.
No, Outlast.
Sounds like it's made by the French because you can't attack, you just run.
Hey, those are my people who are talking.
Yeah, Red Barrels.
Was it Red Barrel, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they well, I don't know who. I think it was them. And in that game, all you have is your camera. And a lot of times, if you don't be a pussy. Set the brightness setting just right, so where when you in the darkness you can't see shit, and you need to turn you have batteries on your camera, and you need to turn your night vision on. And then it's like the scariest part of the game is when they take that camera away from you, and you're like, oh shit.
Does anyone else have problems with like horror games?
Dude, Alan Wake, I haven't played that game in probably a year and a half, but
what about
I played
Space?
like half. Dead Space, I've never had an issue.
Fine. Dead Space is more like it's cheap scares.
Well, now it is.
Scares.
Dead Space 1 I thought was good.
Yeah.
Dead Space 2 on hardcore.
I think they're all very good, but they don't scare me in the same way that Amnesia and games like Outlast and other games like scare me. I don't know, like those are the fun things that when they get horror right. It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
But when they do, it's like one of those things where you want to experience it, but you know you're going to be experiencing it for longer than an hour and a half movie. Right? Like when you go into an hour and a half movie, like
it's gonna be over.
All right, you can't walk out because you look like a puss. But like an hour and a half, you're like, okay, I can sit through this. And then, to be honest, a lot of horror movies nowadays aren't that scary. But
Yeah.
these games, because you are in that world, right? That's the
Yeah.
scary thing.
But
Imagine that with Oculus Rift.
Oh yeah, that'd be intense.
I do not want.
I told Crossum that when I finished Outlast, like I wanted it to be over for the longest time.
Yeah.
The ending wasn't all that great, to be honest, but I did want that game to be over because I was tired of being scared. I just want, please make it end already. So
That's where I think like a horror game that lasts like 3 hours or like 2 hours, and then has different outcomes based on your choices. That would be something really interesting because you can always come back to it. It's not like you need to worry about like where was I last, or like where am I headed this time. Like it's just like you play through it. It's scary, but it's like it's a different experience for like at least 3 or 4 times. I think that'd be really interesting.
Well, Slender Man is a good one where you can play.
Oh god, that one was scary.
I've never
as
played
shit.
that. Is
It was like free to play. It was like
Don't
I'm
play
gonna
it
have to check
alone,
that out.
Miles. Don't play
They
it
have
alone.
Slenderman multiplayer now, where one
oh, I
person gets
saw that.
Slenderman.
Yeah.
It's really OP for
Oh.
the Slender.
and so you need to stop when they are in the like the cone of vision.
Well, like
Yeah,
as a
this-
Slenderman, you can only like spawn in a certain spot. Like obviously you can't like spawn right in front of their face, but like you can, if they're like going up the stairs, you can spawn on top of the stairs. And the camera fuzz and whatnot, and you hear the noise.
Oh.
The person knows, okay, well I shouldn't go up the stairs. And you have like a certain amount of life, so the more you keep seeing the guy, eventually if you just look at him for a second, you're done. And everybody has to find their own individual notes, so it's not like a team effort for some reason. But watching it on
Maybe we should fill everyone in on how the game works.
Oh, like you walk around looking for notes, about 7 of them, Alex.
Yeah. 7
And the more notes you find, the more the Slender Man like is aggressive in finding you, and once he gets really close to you and you like stare at him face to face, your game's over. Like,
Yeah.
and you have a flashlight and it has a certain amount of power.
So it's one of the things where like you'll be walking in the woods, just like you don't know where the notes are. There's no direction to
Right.
the game. You're just looking for them.
Yeah, but in the multiplayer one, I think the one that I saw, no, they were just in a mansion, and so you had
There
to
was
scout the
outside as
mansion.
well.
And there was outside. I mean, there was like the greenhouse area, but I didn't see them go into the woods.
Yeah. No.
But so the original game, how it was
Yeah.
you would just like see, you'd just be wandering around in a lonely like it's in a pretty expansive map,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you would just be walking around, and all of a sudden you'd see a guy in a black suit with long arms, like just
Slender
looking
Man.
at you, Slenderman, and you'd just be like, oh shit, because you knew if you like looked at him long enough, if he was on your screen, your health would deplete and like your screen would become staticky, and it wouldn't like I don't think it ever regen, would
Yeah,
it?
it did.
It would,
It goes away.
oh, okay.
The
You-
static,
So basically,
the static starts to clear as you run away from him.
oh, okay. So that directs your view. You're like, okay, I can't look at him. So you start running, and you look back, and like you've really only gained about 10 feet because he's been following you the whole way.
Yeah.
It's like a really scary little thing.
When I watched a video of a guy beating it, not like masturbating, but he was beating the game.
I would hope not.
He had a strategy where he would keep his vision, the direction of his camera on Slender, or Slenderman or whatever, but he would put a tree in between them. And so that way he's still looking at him, so Slender's not going to move. He's going to stay where he's at, and then he'll move over a little bit, start walking backwards, keep his vision on him, it'll get a little staticky, and then put a tree in between them. And the stagger goes away, and then he keep doing that, so that way
See,
Slender wouldn't advance on him.
what kind of life is that? You know what I'm saying? Like that this guy is like, rather than experiencing what the game is intended for, like the beauty of the game, he's like, oh, I can I could
He
beat
found a
this.
loophole.
Well, I'm sure he's experienced it that way. It's still scary as hell. And
Yeah,
like
I
when you
suppose.
play the first time and you're getting lost, and then you save the bathrooms for last or something, and you go in there and it's impossible because that guy's like right around the
Yeah,
corner.
he's right on your ass.
Damn near. Like,
Is when you do find, or when he gets you, it's like just in a horror movie, and it's super loud and everything, and you just jump. Ridiculous.
Yeesh.
I'm gonna download this, I think. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
This-
Outlast is free anymore, but I mean, I don't know if it's just PS4 members or PS Plus members in general, but Outlast would be a good one to download as well, if you, especially if you can get it for free. But obviously, can't be free. Slender something an experience you have to have, but if you live alone, Kilo, I wouldn't do it.
It's
Yeah.
totally fine.
No, I really wouldn't.
Is it not totally fine?
No, like,
You'll find out.
I tried doing it when Melissa was at work, like not masturbating. I was trying to catch her,
We can come back to this.
and she I was like, no, I can't be doing this. This is unwise.
I have a shady motel like right through that window.
That's pretty sketchy.
So are you saying it's more fucked up and scary than that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a
Unless
different
the basement
kind of
hotel
scary.
vibe.
It's fake scary.
Well, speaking of,
That's real scary.
I'm downloading it.
All right.
I'm playing it this weekend alone, and
Well,
I'll stream it. All
right. Everyone play a little bit of Slender Man. I think that unfortunately we're gonna need to call this one to a halt, gentlemen, and return next week with some more gaming stories. We're at about
One thing, Sunday is May 4th, so May the 4th
Oh, yeah.
be with you
So May
all.
Hey,
And
And expect any announcement from Star Wars or Disney and Lucas, hopefully, of casting. That'd be a nice treat on May the 4th.
that
Did
would
you
be
hear
a nice
about them
treat. I've
changing
heard
the
about
expanded universe.
yeah.
That they're going away from what's
yeah.
canon, what's
How about
in the
this?
expanded universe.
Since May the 4th is next Sunday, how about Monday we go into some Star Wars talk?
Yeah.
Everyone can do a little bit of something.
Um,
Also, apparently Han Solo is playing a crucial role in Episode 7. So that's a little something to wet everyone's tongues.
I think.
along with Carrie Fisher, according to the poorly cropped photo.
Oh yeah,
from
Carrie Fisher's going to play a role. Will
Yep.
it be a major role?
Yep.
Hopefully not.
She will take up a major part of the screen.
Hey,
Will it be a major role?
hey, they can make that bikini from the Jabba scene bigger. Come on, guys.
this Saturday, everybody is free comic book day, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
note that in your calendars. I'm gonna
Oh,
plot
oh,
my
oh.
plot my route, and anyone who wants to go with me is welcome.
Yes.
I have to plug some stuff that I
That's my life.
recently got into again.
Plug.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
look at that.
The hell?
So it's
It's
a
his
phone stand.
phone
See
stand.
for it.
It's Minecraft.
Well, so basically, this is what
How
happened.
much did you pay for that?
I went to go. Let me get to it. God. So I went to go visit Christopher, and I was like, "Oh, there's," and I just made an offhanded remark. I was like, "Oh, I want to get some Legos," and he's like, "There's a Lego store here." I was like, "What?" So it was like a match made in heaven. So I went to there, and their selection was quite poor, I assure you.
It was.
But they had a lot of cool stuff, which is remarkably overpriced. But aside from that, I was like, well, I'll get a little Minecraft thing to kind of put under my monitor shelf, and then I'll make a phone stand. So I made the phone stand. We spent like 45 minutes in there, by the way. And it was, we had so many bystanders too.
We
They were
did.
Like, it was so ridiculous. I was
People were just staring. They're like, "Are you making a phone stand?"
yeah, it was like,
They're like, are you not?
it was like
Well,
kind of
what are you
ridiculous.
doing with your Legos?
I'm making a little DARPA scan station. The little kids with their fucking grubby mitts. Sorry. Anyways, so I made it, and then I made the Minecraft thing, and I was like, well, let's see if it fits here. I put it in there, and it fit perfectly
That's
on the
good.
side. So I was like, well, I guess I have to order the other one now. So I ordered that one. I got in here today, and it's on the other side now. So now I have to fill up the back 2 quadrants of this
But
square.
you need to make like a Minecraft cup holder and a Minecraft like.
It wasn't Minecraft themed. Like the phone stand was just a phone stand, and then that was the other.
But now
set
you've
I had my
created a
eyes on.
terranium. So
Well,
you,
yeah.
yeah.
We'll see. So that's what's new with me. Legos are still fun, even at 24.
I imagine.
Yeah,
Every time I've been to the Mall of America, they have a giant Lego store, and I'm like, oh, I want that X-wing really, really bad.
Oh, dude.
I want to build things again.
I want the
And
black
like,
pearl, but it's like $300. It's like,
and you know what I was thinking about today? I was putting together the desk that my computer sits on now. I got it from IKEA, and so IKEA is an international store. So I realized that they can't put any words in their instruction
oh.
because they're international, right? To save on money. So everything needs to be shown by little fingers and eyes and like don't do this. And I was like, this is adult Legos. This is like because if you look through a Lego book, it's like it's all visual.
Yeah.
It's all like arrows. And I'm like, I would probably suck at this if I didn't do Legos when I was a kid. So, real life application, everybody.
Last order of business, I ordered a minifigure because, oh yeah, I got the Joker. But he wasn't the Heath Ledger Joker, he was like the cheesy Jack Nicholson Joker, I guess.
Nice.
Wait.
I like that one.
So I made the car myself. But anyways, so I ordered a not a Batman, a Lego. I was thinking of Batman because it's not a spoiler. So I got a minifigure that is Legos styled or whatever you want to say. Guess who I got?
Someone from Game of Thrones.
No,
Someone
they
from the
don't do
Hobbit.
anything. They don't do anything that's rated R or similar. Go
Some
ahead.
of the Hobbit stuff.
No.
What genre? What are we talking about?
Sci-fi.
Star Wars.
Uh huh.
Boba Fett.
Chewbacca.
No.
R2D2 Yoda.
Sean, you're gonna know it. You're gonna guess it.
Padme.
Han Solo.
Who's my favorite?
The Ewok.
Ewoks.
So Boba.
No. What episode is my favorite one?
Episode 3
You
is
got
my favorite.
Skywalker.
Did you get
Yeah. Not Darth Vader. Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker. So
underestimate my powers.
I have.
So exciting.
don't try it.
We'll try.
It's my Lego nerdgasm lately.
On that nerdgasm, all of us here at GamerDen wish you a fond farewell and happy gaming, everyone.
later?
Toodaloo.
Alright,
Ciao, Dave.
Toodles.
Bye.
this was sad.